Hello, my dear folks. Welcome to the show. My name is Jack Chow. You know me already. And you know the show, of course, East West with G&E TV. And by the way, you know a big guy of the show and a long-standing friend, Mr. Peter Choi of the show. Only we miss him for a while because his involvement with the politics. Oh, he still is. So welcome, Peter, to the show.
Well, thank you very much, Jack. I want to wish you and all the folks watching Happy New Year. Happy Lunar New Year. And this is a great time, and I hope the year is going to be great for you and for everyone out there as well.
All right. And to me, my year starts with my good friend Peter. Well, it's gonna only look better. Better, nothing but the better and the better and the better. All right. So, to be honest with you, I do adore my good friend Peter Choi, not only because his high position, but because his thought. I do admire his analysis of American politics. That's why I call him politics analyst. Am I right, using the right term?
Sure, political analysis, I'll take
all right.
that.
Or I call it a politics analysis, the different ways, all right? Okay, anyway. Well, I look different. I want to look different. I borrowed this jacket, this vest from my staff involved in the event last night. That was the event is called The Culture of China, the Festival of the Spring. Well, it's the big event. It's a delegation of 36 artists, nationally renowned 36 artists, to Los Angeles to entertain people, the community, with a big show, about 2 hours and 10 minutes show, specialized with Beijing Opera. I was involved, and I'm a proud member of the EDI team. So to the delegation and to my audience who attended the show, so here's my appreciation, my thanks for having a good time together. So that's why I look different. It says the title, but in Chinese though.
Well, I'm so glad you mentioned that because we've talked about this before in the past on other shows, but your event last night, you and EDI, these sorts of things, these cultural exchanges are so important. They create a cultural bridge between here and there, between the US and China. And that kind of bridge is more easy to walk and much more entertaining and creates a better relationship than just politics. Politics sometimes can be a little difficult because there's different interests. But when it comes to music, when it comes to art, this is something that everyone can enjoy and realize that we share that kind of joy together.
Hey, so, Peter, you're absolutely right. Thank you very much for saying that. And also, there's another thing that this kind of event could function. Well, anyway, let me back a little bit. Speaking of politics, you're talking about concept, right? And sticking to one concept doesn't make too much sense if you have chances of enlarging your field of visibility to other perspective with other concept, right? So now with the culture exchanges, though, people are looking wider and wider. When the range is concerned, and when you talk about the methods of dealing with politics, there's always a necessity of adopting some other concepts. Right. So now that's why we're talking today about the LA election, which passed 2 nights ago. Well, probably we need some concept to be imbued in there rather than a single concept going like say one shot way. That's right. So do you think that makes a point, right?
It exactly does. Very much.
Speaking of the past election, the primary, of course, to LA County City Council. LA City Council, though. What's your overall take?
Well,
did it go
that's a great first question.
Healthy or unhealthy?
My overall take is this. I am always willing to volunteer and work to elect smart, intelligent people who have ideas about how to solve problems, like our streets and our roads, infrastructure, homelessness, poverty, and job creation. I'm always about that. But also, I'm always about looking for Asian American candidates because, in general, in California, which has a very large Asian American population, in the San Gabriel Valley is the largest Chinese community outside of China. Koreatown in Los Angeles, largest community of Koreans outside of Korea. But especially in California, but across this country. But when I talk about LA County, when I talk about California, I have to say that we as Asians have been very fortunate because we value education, because we work hard, that in one generation we move up. So we have had economic success, we have had pop cultural success.
Yeah, you're right.
But the political success, we still have to fight for. Now here in the San Gabriel Valley, in the 626, with a very large Chinese American community, there is the ability to elect Chinese Americans and Asian Americans to the local school board, to the local city council of the many small cities. But in the city of Los Angeles itself, the big city of Los Angeles, in the entire history of that political system, only one Asian American has ever been elected to the city council, and that was Michael Wu. So here in the San Gabriel Valley, we have a Congresswoman, Judy Chu. I'm a big fan of Representative Chu. We have other electeds, and certainly we can talk about the elections that happened in San Gabriel, Temple City, where I work. We elected a second Asian American to the city council. So we see that success. But in Los Angeles, where I live, and I was a little disappointed. It was a 50-50. I had two people I knew running for the city council. One was Grace Yu, a very smart, strong community activist in Koreatown, running in City Council District 10. And then we had another Korean American, David Ryu, running in a very large field in City Council District 4, 14 candidates. Because City Council member Tom Labange, he was termed out, so it was an open race. Grace Yu was running against the City Council president. It's an uphill underdog fight. But CD4 with David Ryu, 14 candidates, only 2 were going to make it into the general primary, and I'm very delighted that one of them is David Ryu. So again, I want somebody who is smart and has solutions. But of course, I also would like to see faces that look like ours because they understand our culture, they understand our issues, and have that representation. And I'm always looking for
How do you value the fact with the Korean town as a whole versus the redistricting?
Oh, well, thank you. You're talking about the redistricting from 2 years ago. 3 years ago now, 2012.
And efforts are still there.
That's right. Well, generally, look, remember, back in the George Washington, Thomas Jefferson days, they fought a revolution. And the famous saying was, no taxation without representation. They wanted to have a say in how their government ran. And very often, when there is a community of people, a Latino community, a Vietnamese community, they like to put them in the same district so that that community has a voice. In 2012, there was a redistricting process. A very rare opportunity to change the lines and include certain groups and communities. The Koreatown community, and as you and many people know, look, 25 years ago, Koreatown was Western Avenue and Olympic, and now it is all of mid-city Los Angeles. It is a very large community, largest community outside of Korea. They fought very hard. They marched and they said, we want all of Koreatown
to stick together as a community.
One district,
yes,
either 4
one district,
or District 10. But what happened was the city council president, Herb Wesson, with some backroom deals and the powers that be, they kept Koreatown divided in half. So it is very impossible to elect a Korean American to the city council. And this is difficult because that is a very large Asian American community in Los Angeles. And in any other city, there would be a Korean American. In New York and other cities, there are.
Peter, probably we should take a pause. When we come back, though, I would like to share your thoughts about how do you, justify these two situations with the Korean town You know the term of gerrymandering, right?
It is exactly
Exactly.
gerrymandering.
Okay. I would like you to share your thoughts about your understanding of a gerrymandering with my audience. I believe my dear audience need that. Can we do that, please?
Absolutely.
All
Be
right.
happy
Very
to.
good. So stay with us. We'll be right back, please. I promise.